Good morning and welcome back to North Dakota today. Well, get ready to learn tintype photography. A masterclass is being offered here in Fargo, and here to tell us all about it, please welcome Carrie and Anjali. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Okay, so we have a whole lot of cool stuff in front of us, but before we dive into the masterclass, I need to learn what tintype photography is.
So it's a form of photography invented in 1851, and it was the most widely used form of photography until the 1880s.
Wow.
It was a really hard technology to beat because it's such a beautiful object at the end result.
So is this an original tintype camera?
It isn't. So today I brought my new version of an old design.
Oh, okay, okay.
It is a tailboard camera. It's meant to be traveled with, and it is solid mahogany, and it was made in Poland.
Wow, okay.
My lens is antique. It's from the early 1900s, and then it's a Hellier. That's what I use now.
Okay, this is so cool to look at. I'm enthralled by this, but let's talk about the masterclass. What are you guys teaching?
So I'm instructing students who may not even have a photography background, not only about certain aspects of the history of photography and why that's important going forward as a photographer, but also letting them learn how to do the basic steps of the process and walking them through the chemistry, the techniques, what kind of lighting. And it's really for everybody. It's an all ages class, which isn't very common in our state.
No.
You may find other places you can learn this technology, but it is for everyone. So I wanted to keep it as affordable as possible, and I paired up with Parashigo, and she has a lovely new location right across from my studio.
Incredible. Okay, so tell us about where and when this event will be held.
It is at 14 8th Street South. It's right across from Nicole's Fine Pastry, and it's this Saturday at 6 p.m.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so we want to highlight other art in our communities, and what does this give people the chance to really do?
I think share trades is probably the biggest concept within the space, and also one of the big things I know Carrie for.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are we looking at in front of us right now?
So these are all examples of tintypes. This process can also be done as a negative, and that's on clear glass or on colored glass or opaque glass, and that's an ambrotype.
Okay.
Tintypes are on metal, so that's what we're focusing on. It's a little easier for beginners.
Ooh.
These are full-size 8x10s. The class, the students will end up making a 4x5 on the second instruction day, which is on the 29th at the end of the month, and they'll get a chance to actually pour a plate and take an exposure of one of their fellow students and work in my big studio, which is located in a historical building, like she said, right across the street from their new studio space. And it's a really fun, cool atmosphere because it's one of the original colleges in Fargo.
Wow.
And I've turned that space into now again a teaching opportunity. So
okay, so bits of history really encapsulated in all of this, and I love that it's a very hands-on experience too. What do you think is the hardest part about tintype photography?
Well, there's a lot of elements and variables that make it complicated. It's hard to go into everything, but I would say mastering exposure, development can be very tricky because it's done in hand, and so you have to be able to tell within the darkroom when it's ready to stop the development process.
Oh.
It's also within only a certain time frame, so you have about 12 minutes from start to finish to get the photo complete, and that includes exposure time.
Wow.
The way I do it is long exposure and natural light, so because of that, also gauging exposure time is hard since it works on what's called the UV spectrum, and it only sees that. So because of that, there's no meter to really gauge what light is coming through.
Right.
So it's tricky in many aspects.
It sounds like it. Yes, this is definitely for the pros, but you can become a pro if you head out to this masterclass. Right. So tell me why you wanted to partner up with a sort of photography gig here.
At Parachigo, we try to pair with a bunch of different art forms. The big mission of the space is for artists to be able to share their skills with one another, and just kind of like gain expertise from the experts. And we have an expert across the street.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Have you dabbled in tintype before?
I have not. This will be completely new for me as well.
Okay, very exciting. Now, I'm looking at a lot of these poses and they're very dramatic and very elegant. Does that kind of go with the historical aspect of the photography?
Well, it depends on the person taking the image. So these images here kind of varied works of portraits, and that's what I specialize in.
Yeah.
And also some staged, more artistic portraits with multiple people in it. Sometimes I'll do that. So it depends on the person taking the photograph. Some people do still life, which is really beautiful as well. It just what you want to do. And I will just highlight here, so I did bring my North Dakota Horizons magazine issue that came out a few months ago. I had the wonderful privilege of traveling the state last year and working with historical societies across North Dakota. And so some of my plates, just like the ones you see here, have been archived in the State Historical Society in Bismarck. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm thankful for them working with me.
That is amazing. Okay, do you have any next adventures that you want to share?
Well, I usually stop out to Medora every year. I also enjoy working with local historical societies here in Fargo, like Bonanzaville in the fall.
Yes.
But actually this year I was talking to my associate here. I'm taking a little more of a break. I'm not doing a full-on exhibition, but I am always a part of the Plains Arts Gala, and my images will be up for sale. The proceeds go towards keeping admissions free at the Plains Art Museum. So if anyone's planning on coming, please bid on those images. It's going to a good cause, and I will be working with some people in the future out in Minnesota, so I'm looking forward to that. So
wow.
watch my social media.
There we go. Lots of stuff in the works. And if you see that QR code popping up on your screen right now, if you scan that, that'll take you right to the page so you can sign up for the masterclass as well. Any last words of encouragement for people to try something new?
I'd say keep making art. That's probably my biggest passion.
I love it.
Yes, and I think having a third meeting space within a community is so vital important, and the arts enrich Fargo. So we need to really support those spaces and show that we appreciate them.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thank you ladies both so much for coming on and talking all about this. I hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Now you guys at home, don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we'll be right back with your daily dose of motivation right after the break.
The number of measles cases continues to grow across the U.S. Tomorrow on the Valley Today, we'll answer some of the most common questions about that virus. Plus, all your overnight headlines and morning break.